What's going on, ladies and gents? Let's have a talk about one of my favorite manhwas, To Drown in You. More specifically, we're going to talk about the two most important scenes in this manhwa. And let me be clear, boys and girls, these scenes are not readily apparent as to why they are important. But I was able to clock both of them almost immediately. And I began analyzing both of them to determine why are they here? What's the importance of them? And that's what we're going to be exploring today. Why are they so important? And what do both of these scenes actually mean? This will include spoilers, so get out while you have a chance. But for those who don't mind a little bit of spoilers, and who also have no idea what To Drown in You is, this story focuses on Ye Song. He is best friends with Yoon Hae, a mermaid. At least, they were best friends as a kid, but at some point in his childhood, he grew up and had to move away due to familial circumstances. 5 years later, after he moves away, Yoonhei develops a power to travel through any waterway or any channel of water, and she reunites with him, leading to, well, happy reunion. But due to other circumstances, specifically, she murders someone to protect Song. They drift apart, leading to Drown in You. And those are the first 10 chapters, mind you. So this is your last chance. Get out before there's even more spoilers. With that being said, though, let's start with that first important scene, which is, ironically, the first scene. It's the very first scene we see in this manhwa. Here, give me a moment. Basically, it opens up, and the first thing we see is Yoonhae. We don't see her eyes, but we see her, and it looks like her arms are extended outward. And in a moment, we see that they're extended toward Hye Song, who is actually in her arms. He looks at his eyes are closed. It looks like he's asleep. Next moment, we see him waking up. And her arms are no longer around him, not in an embrace, not in a hug, but he is face up in water, and it looks like she is trying to drag him under. He then immediately wakes up, fully wakes up. This was a dream he had. So this made me wonder, why is this here? This is the opening scene. It has to be important, right? And it took me a while to clock what it meant. But here's what it means. This opening scene shows Hye Song's closeness to Yoon Hae. And I'm not just talking about a physical closeness. I'm talking about up here and in here. It's his relationship to her, either in his actions, in his feelings toward her, or physical proximity. Once Yoonhae kills to protect Kaesung, he begins to see her as less than human. He knows that she's a mermaid. He's always known this, but he's always seen her as human-like. But this kill, the way she acted, felt almost monstrous. So he distances himself from her, and she notices that. So she acts. What she does, she shows, I have the bodies. I can reveal them at any point. You have to stay close to me. And so he does. He stays close to her out of necessity because he's scared she will get him in trouble. She will ruin his life because he decides not to be close to her. That right there is the physical proximity that I was talking about. But what about the heart, the relationship? That happens as he is trying to keep up this physical proximity. He forms an actual relationship to her and with her. Basically, he becomes codependent on her. Well, he becomes dependent on her, and she in turn has been dependent on him. Codependency, it sucks. Either way, though, he begins to need her. to feel good about himself. In every capacity, he summons her at school so he can hug her to calm himself down. And let me be clear, there's nothing wrong with him wanting to hug someone to make himself feel better, but we as the audience know that this is not healthy. And deep down in this moment, Song knows it too. He knows somewhere inside that this isn't right, but it's what helps him in that moment. So he seeks out that closeness because it's the only thing that can calm him down because he's not close to anyone else anymore. Next up for closeness, we have actions. And notice how when I said actions, I never said what kind of actions because it's not actions to bring himself closer to her, it's actions that make him act closer to her. These actions resemble how Yoonhee acted towards him. And I'm specifically talking about Jae-hee. Mind you, Jae-hee is his one friend, his one true friend after he ditches Yoonhee, after he finally gets rid of her. But instead of it being something positive, he begins to do the same thing that Yoonhee did to him. He tries to isolate her. He manipulates her, lying about what his friends did. And not only that, he tries to manipulate her to do exactly what he wants. When she says she's going away, he says, "Why would you do this to me? If you really cared for me, you wouldn't leave me." And that's so wrong, but it resembles what Yoonhee did. He didn't threaten her with, "Oh, I have these bodies," but he tried guilt tripping her. And he eventually got over it. But still, those actions showed just how much he was closer to her. That's the full description of the opening scene. But to understand the importance, the true importance of it, we have to dive into scene two. More specifically, Yunha's reading about Sisyphus. For those who haven't read it, you're probably wondering, who the hell is Yunha? Yunha is someone that Song met in a mental institute. At one point, Song is feeling cornered. So what he does is he isolates himself. He checks himself into a mental institute. That way he can be all by himself and Yoonhee can't reach him without exposing herself. While in the mental institute, he meets Yunha. And Yunha is a fellow believer. She basically pushes him open up, and it's beautiful. Quite honestly, I love his and her relationship. But she does a reading on him, his universal reading, and it reads like this. You are from Silsaphius. Silsaphius is a lonely, dry land. It's a deserted place. So one might find it quiet and relaxing. But from afar, it's actually filled with an incredible vortex. You shouldn't yearn for that planet, or else you'll never escape it. Don't even think about going back, even if you hear a familiar sound from it. The moment you turn around, it will be game over. You need to keep walking straight and look ahead, even if there is nothing in front of you. After this reading ends, it shows a picture of Yoonhee staring off into the void. And so my natural instinct was maybe it's talking about Yoonhee herself or Mole Island, leading back into that closeness, just a kind of loop, right? But it kept on building. I got full confirmation on what it meant in chapter 69. Because in this chapter, both Yoonha and Song are seeking out evidence about Yoonhee to prove her to the world, to free Song. And they come across a shack where Yoonhee had holed herself up. And it terrifies Song. He tries to run away, but Yoonha tackles him and tells him, "This is what I meant by don't look back." She specifically says, "I told you not to look back. You might feel better temporarily if you cover this up and ignore it, but you'll never truly be free." What this tells me is that Hye Song prioritizes short term comfort over long term security. That's what it showed me. And that's what it confirmed for me. Because in this moment, he's trying to go towards something that's comfortable, leaving it all alone, pushing it aside, because facing it is hard. And this is how it ties back to the opening scene. Because this closeness to Yoonhae in his actions, in his relationship with her, and his actions that resembled her was just short term comfort. The way he acted toward Jae-hee, the way he tried to isolate her and manipulate her, short term comfort. The way he lied to Yoonha about what actually happened to his uncle, short term comfort. He, it's easy. It sucks you in. It's easy to prioritize that when that's all you've known. But we see him trying to get away from that. We see him getting away from Sosaphius with his journey alongside Yoonha. And we begin to see pictures of this, these glimpses of it, because he notices his relationship with Yoonha. He notices how close he is to her, and it makes him uncomfortable because he's scared of becoming dependent on her. And he almost tries to push her away, but he still embraces her anyways. Because that is the long term security. It's easy to push people away. That's the short term. What about the long term? You still have to deal with it. We see him getting away from Silsaphius. And it's in 79, chapter 79, it all comes to fruition. Truly comes to fruition. Where he confronts Yoonhae, who is trying to isolate him again. And he tells her, just because she's not here doesn't mean I'm alone. And in chapter 80, we see something even more beautiful, where he tries to connect with Yoonhae again. A true connection. He says, "I've learned to trust myself. So let's try again. Let's try and make our lives better to where we don't have to depend on someone else for our happiness." And it's beautiful. It's amazing. We see him getting away from Silsaphius. These two scenes aren't just displaying a loop. Yeah, the opening scene was a loop. It was just closeness, 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 closeness. But you add Silsaphius in that reading, and it shows him finally moving forward. Even if he doesn't know where exactly it's going to lead, he still has a lot of progress to make. We still don't know what's going to happen with the lying to Yunha. Maybe that'll hurt him in the end. But that's part of it. He's still going to have to move forward. And we see him trying to do so. That's what these two scenes mean. And that's why they're so important. If you manage to stick around this long, you may as well leave a like. And if you like more content like this, go ahead and subscribe. And you can check out this video right here where I cover and analyze all of the live action spider senses. So, I hope to see you guys soon. Bye.